So this is Isaiah Everin. I'm a level design student at the Guildhall at SMU. I am part of cohort 23, graduating in May of 2016, and right now I'd like to present a level developed for Crysis 2 called Escape into Storm. This is a level I developed over the course of actually 3 different level design courses. It was originally 2 smaller levels combined into one still fairly short, around like 7 to 10 minute level. And I wanted to basically combine these 2 smaller levels I had made that didn't feel fully satisfying on their own into one larger experience that contrasts some different environments as well as different gameplay. The first half takes place in a Manhattan subway station and focuses more on stealth and sort of dramatic interior lighting. And the second half is the stormy city streets above, and it focuses more on the action run and gun classic Crysis 2 play style, as well as a exterior nighttime scene in the midst of a rainy storm. So without further ado, I'm going to jump in and I'll be talking about some of my higher level developer goals, as well as how I executed some of what I did in the CryEngine 3 editor called Sandbox Editor. But as I said, this first half of the mission is focused on stealth. The lighting accentuates that style of gameplay. As it said at the beginning, we have some tactical options available, which means we can pull up this tactical visor and actually highlight critical options that are available to us, as well as highlight where the enemies are, so we can get a feel for... We can basically just be scouting ahead through walls, which is a powerful tool that I really liked using when I was playing Crysis 2, though I actually found out that some of the people in my cohort didn't even know it existed, so that's interesting. But I really liked it, so I wanted to play up on it as much as I could. And so in this first environment, as I said, I was focused on lighting an interior with sort of dark, dramatic lighting that contrasts some warm artificial lights with some cooler artificial lights. And as you can see, CryEngine 3 has fantastic lighting. Obviously, all of its lights are actually dynamic with either shadows enabled or disabled, but there's not any baked lighting, and it has the global illumination with lights reflecting off of surfaces to further illuminate the scene. And I actually had the opportunity to get really creative with the lighting in here, which I enjoyed doing a lot. I really like lighting, and I even attached some of the lights to some scripts that make it so you can destroy these dramatic high contrast lights if you would like to, though it's not necessary. It's just a little nice touch I wanted to add. And then, as you can see, this station that we're in has been refitted as a supply outpost in the midst of this alien war. So we have medical supplies and some military supplies, and these cell mercenaries are now occupying this station, so we have to make our way through them. But the original use of this station in the main campaign, which is, you can find this station in the level, I believe it's called Bryant Park, and towards the end of it, you enter this station, and the way they use it is a lot different than how I ended up decorating it. And so, as you can see, all this architecture, like the walls, ceiling, etc., that's all one larger environment split into smaller meshes you fit together. Not a lot of freedom is allowed there to like a designer that's not part of, the Crysis 2 team. But I still had a lot of freedom in lighting it and in decorating it with all these different meshes. As I said, I turned it into a supply outpost, whereas in the original game, it was just a normal subway station that was starting to get run down and was sort of infested with these aliens and some plague victims. But this is a lot different, and I was able to bring this environment to life in a way that suited the needs I had for this mission area. So we'll continue onwards, surprising these guys. As you can see, the stealth in this game is almost ridiculously powerful, which is what I ended up learning in developing for this level. I really like stealth gameplay, but the power level that this game provides the player makes it pretty challenging to make the sort of stealth gameplay you'd see maybe in a game like Dishonored or Hitman, and It has its pros and cons. I wanted to explore it, and I learned what I could out of it. It's still pretty enjoyable, and I was able to make a really cool environment with it, but as you can see, it's a really relatively unchallenging area to get through. But the next area above is a lot more run and gun, so we'll see some of that. But I just want to show this environment real quick. You can see that they have some emergency medical stations set up, a lot of these supplies set up. The idea being that they're using the trains to move emergency supplies through the city, since a lot of streets would be congested, especially in the midst of this alien incursion that's basically happening throughout the city. But for now, we'll exit up into the streets and see what that looks like. We can immediately see a hint at the situation up here with this rubble. We can see destruction in the distance. It's raining, it's nighttime, and then you can see these posts, these notices posted up on the advertisements on the street that are kind of like the stuff that the city would have put up when the evacuation started. But things aren't going too well. We see a lot of destroyed debris, a lot of junk, and then the cell mercenaries have now occupied this area. There's recently an incursion of Ceph enemies that you can see their corpses on the ground from when they came and attacked this area. We're gonna highlight the enemies, and we're also going to highlight some useful tactical options, and as well as some explosives that are over there. So we have some resupply areas and some explosives we can find. And then our tactical visor, this like nano suit we're wearing, basically allows, it's really crazy technology that you have access to that essentially just highlights everything useful. Anything that's useful at all is highlighted to Alcatraz, which you use throughout the game. In a second, we're going to see some reinforcements spawn. So we'll pick up some different weapons to help us take them out. But I had to script some various AI stuff, not too complicated, but I needed some reinforcements to come in. I wanted to feel pretty action-packed. I wanted basically with this area, I wanted to really feature what Crysis does best, which is a large action bubble with a lot of options available to the player, and you can sort of prepare in advance for what you want to do, but then once the action starts, you gotta jump in and make it happen. So there's our first objective, blowing up that generator. The next objective is the comms equipment in the trailer. We'll take a more defensive position up here. And then as you can see, as I climb up here, there's a lot of options available to the player. There's all this... this truck is moving like crazy. I've actually never seen that happen, so I'm going to hop off real quick. But I wanted to feature vertical gameplay. Crysis does that really well with this super jump we have, as well as a lot of different cover, a lot of different stuff going on out here. This is basically a position that Cell has secured. They have these comms trailers. They have a lot of barriers erected. This is like blocked off over here. Now this is blocked off by rubble because the aliens recently attacked. But again, I'm trying to bring to life this war in the midst of Manhattan, which is a pretty unique environment, and Crysis does really well allowing us to bring that environment to life. I used all the buildings and stuff you see on the side are pre-existing assets, but then I sort of had to place them as they fit my level structure. So there's the ones in the distance, and then there's these ones sort of walling us in on the side. Some of these are just shops and restaurants. We're just going to head these guys off because I know where they're coming from. But then I also even wanted to go so far as to, if we come into this alleyway, we can see... Oh, they're respawning here. They're actually not supposed to do that while we can see them, but let's pretend they didn't. As I was saying, this alleyway that's now piled in corpses is really trying to bring bring to life the fact that this was a city, people lived here, there was like stuff going on before this war started, so I really wanted to take the chance to bring that environment to life. Alright, dude, you're done for. Let's get a stealth weapon going. So in the second half, we have another objective here to destroy this comms equipment. And then the objectives get updated with activate explosive to destroy the portable radar tower. But first we'll do some more of this run and gun gameplay so that I can just show off basically the level geometry I created to give the player a lot of freedom in how they tackle this mission. We can see another alleyway where enemies are gonna spawn. And again, we have a lot of vertical gameplay available to us, so we can get the high ground on these guys. There's a lot of cover we have available to us that they had erected in order to protect themselves, but now we can sort of use against them, which is another common theme in Crysis 2. It's let's go get a grenade launcher real quick to finish these guys off and show off the full power level that I make available to players. So if the player follows up on the waypoint that says explosives, they can actually find this super cool grenade launcher. Oh, there we go. But yeah, so as you can see, we have a lot of gameplay options that were available to us to take out these soldiers however we wish. We could also just sort of charge through and complete the objective pretty easily if we wanted to, but I wanted to show off the gameplay I was really going for in making this area. And then we'll hit these explosives, opening up our escape through a pharmacy back here. And the pharmacy is another area where I get to like bring to life the Manhattan City. Whoops, wrong button. Oh crap. Well, we were right at the ending anyways. I'm not gonna... Actually, we can do this. There we go. We were right at the ending anyways, where we can run through this pharmacy real quick while all these reinforcements are coming at us, and that's our escape. So, that was Escape into Storm. Sorry, we're in the editor here, so I can sort of show off the level from above, and also show... I just wanted to give a quick view of like the kind of work I had to do to bring this level to life. So for the AI, it actually requires a fairly intricate nav mesh with cover points identified. I'll say that developing for AI in Crysis 2 is a unique challenge. It's probably one of the harder things I had to do at the Guildhall, just because the AI is very finagly, doesn't always do what you want it to do, does some funny things. But as you can see, that's all like an AI nav mesh, and then we have all our decorations, and then we have another nav mesh down here, and then we use some scripting on each of these AI units to get them to do their patrols and also to get them to respawn and etc. A lot of this is decorated with, again, the lighting work I did, the mesh work I did, and then there's a very large abundance of decals, because Crysis 2 has a lot of cool decals and sort of decorative stuff. So yeah, that was Escape into Storm. I hope you enjoyed watching and got to see my thought processes behind making the level. If you're interested in playing it, you could actually download it off of my website. I also have some more details on how I developed the level available on my website. And that's all. If you made it this far, thank you for watching.